Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today we'll be doing in 7.3, which is about mechanical digestion. We will be covering all of these points today. And I summarized it in a revision sheet, which you can take a picture of. Right now it's going to help you a lot. And all these points here are summarized in one page. Okay, now, mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion is mainly done by the teeth. So, the teeth help in ingestion and mechanical digestion of the food that we eat. They're the hardest substance produced by animals, or enamel is actually the hardest substance that is made by animals. And the teeth also contain nerves and blood vessels. This is in the pulp cavity, which we will discuss in a few seconds. All right. So, this is the structure of a tooth. You have the part that we can see and the part which you cannot see. The part which you can see is called the crown. The part which you cannot see is called the root. The hard substance, the hard white substance is called the enamel. Inside there is a soft, it's I think spongy. It's called the dentine. It has a lot of air spaces also in between, and that's called the dentine. Inside the dentine, or inside the tooth, we have a cavity known as the pulp cavity. This cavity contains two types of it contains nerves and blood vessels. Nerves to send and receive stimuli, and blood vessels for like capillaries or arteries and veins. Now, you also have the gum. They will only ask you to identify the structures, I think. Yeah, just describe the structures. Yeah. So, you have gum. Okay, now cement is important. So you see, I colored this with a kind of grayish color. This is really important. This is cement. The cement, it holds, I wrote it over here also. It attaches tooth to jawbone, but moves slightly when biting or chewing. These are fibers that help attach the cement. No, the gum to jaw. No, the tooth to the gum. It's called cement, but the gum to the jawbone, it's called fibers. So you have to keep that in mind. You can get confused really easily, like I did. So gum, between gum and tooth, we have cement, and between the between the gum and jaw, we have fibers, right? So the fibers, they're the ones that allow your tooth, your jawbone, it attaches the tooth to jawbone, but moves slightly when biting or chewing. Right? The blood vessels are for blood supply, and that's your jawbone. There are four different types of teeth. Okay, the first one is the incisors. So they are the first four teeth, and they're shaped like this. That's the front view, that's the side view, and their main function is cutting and biting. Canines, they are the sharp ones. They're for piercing and tearing. food. Premolars, they have two cusps, and they have two cusps, and they look like this from the front and this from the side, and they have two cusps. That's really important, and they're for grinding and chewing. Molars, they have three cusps, and therefore also grinding and chewing, and they're towards your lower, towards your back, the back of your jaw. Now the diseases caused by substances forming in your mouth. So some bacteria in the mouth mixed with substances in saliva, it forms a sticky film over the teeth, which we call plaque. So think about it. Bacteria, it's very dirty. It has like a greenish color, and mixed with the food substances in saliva, some bacteria in the mouth mixed with some substances in saliva, it's gonna form a weird texture, kind of like, I think, this color over the tooth, like a sticky substance over the tooth. The bacteria and the substances of the food, they are going to form a thin layer called plaque. You're going to see this. It's soft and easy to remove at first, and if it hardens, it becomes tartar. Okay, and usually in teeth, it's like kind of on the tooth, it's kind of that's not a tooth. I don't know what that is. Okay, on the tooth, if on the sides they're like kind of orange, it's kind of orange on the sides, in between the teeth, that is called plaque, and if it hardens, it becomes tartar. There are two things that can happen if you have plaque. Either gum diseases, if plaque, it builds up around the edges of teeth or gums, and it's not removed, it becomes tartar. The bacteria, it works its way down to the roots of the tooth and causes roots to either fall out or it must be removed. So let's say, okay, we have this figure here. There's another tooth on the side. Let's draw one like here. Draw it using, let's say, black. If tartar, okay, if you have bacteria living, let's draw that with like green, bacteria living here, then you have your food substances mixed with it. It's gonna form kind of an orange color and form a film around the teeth. This film, we call it plaque. Plaque, it's first soft. Later, when it hardens, it becomes a darker color and it becomes tartar. So, if this tartar, tartar. Now, I'll make this kind of color that you can see. If this goes through your teeth, like through the middle of your teeth to the gums, and it's gonna go down here, it's going to cause like a space. Think about it, like a space between your tooth. Either your tooth is going to fall out itself, or you're going to make it, or you have to make it fall out. Okay, so if plaque is not removed, bacteria work its way down to the roots of the tooth, and tooth is loosened. Okay, so a tooth decay is another thing that can happen due to plaque. If sugar, okay, think about it. Gum diseases, always remember that it's supposed to be loosened or removed. Tooth decay, it's caused by eating sugar. Always remember that. Decay, it's a cavity appears. Think about it like that. So sugar is left on teeth, and bacteria in the plaque will feed on it by respiration. So over here, you have sugar crystals, and you have your bacteria. These bacteria, they will respire. They will take the sugar in. Sugar is a form of glucose, right? So they will take the glucose in, and they will release lactic acid. Lactic acid is very... Okay, as I previously said, enamel, it's the hardest substance produced by animals in general. This acid can break down, it can get through enamel, can get through dentine, and can go into the pulp cavity. It can also damage the pulp cavity. That's why it's really, really harmful. So anyways, if sugar is left on teeth, bacteria in this plaque, that's why it's really harmful, in this plaque will feed on it by respiration and release lactic acid. Lactic acid dissolves in enamel and dentine and causes a cavity to appear. Also, it might end up in the pulp cavity over here and cause a lot of pain. A lot of pain, maybe. Okay, now, to keep the teeth healthy, this is something that they ask a lot. You either make regular visits to the dentist, don't eat too much sugar, or you use fluoride toothpaste. This is something they're really looking for. Fluoride toothpaste. Okay, this fluoride toothpaste, it gives protection. It gives protection to enamel, so that bacteria cannot, or so that lactic acid cannot harm it. So it gives protection to enamel if lactic acid ever ends up in the mouth. If, however, there are a few disadvantages of using fluoride toothpaste, but there are no disadvantages unless you use it way too regularly. I mean, yes, use it regularly, but not in a lot of quantity. That's why they say to use the toothpaste in moderation. You shouldn't use a lot of toothpaste. So if fluoride is used too much, it can cause discoloration of teeth. And but its main function is to reduce tooth decay. One more thing that should be mentioned is that in some countries they add in water bottles, in the water bottles in the manufactured water bottles, they add fluoride ions. That's if you drink this water. If you drink this water, you are going to automatically get your less tooth decay. So that's an example of something they do in a few countries. Alright, is there anything I missed? So, proper care of teeth in terms of diet and regular brushing. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.